News 4 was the first to report new details in a very dark and a twisted story that led to two people being killed inside a Fairfax County home.
Almost a year ago, prosecutors questioned an au pair as part of her plea agreement. In that interview, she alleged the man she was having an affair with, Christine Banfield, masterminded an elaborate plot to kill his wife, Christine. Brendan's trial is set to begin in 2 months, and he denies the allegations. Now,
recordings of the au pair's interview were entered into evidence during a recent hearing, and Brendan Banfield's attorney provided a copy to Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Drew Wilder.
Yesterday, News 4 showed you the video and shared that au pair's version of what happened in the months leading up to the murders. Tonight, in part 2 of Drew's reporting, the Herndon au pair describes what she says happened the day of the killings. We want to warn you, some of these details are disturbing.
It was early in the morning on February 24th, 2023. In just a couple of hours, a mother and a man from Springfield would both be killed in her bedroom. There are only two people who know what truly went down inside of that Herndon home, according to prosecutors. One of them is the woman's husband, Brendan Banfield. Brendan claims his wife summoned the other man, Joseph Ryan, to their bedroom to fulfill a BDSM sex fantasy, and Brendan arrived too late to save his wife's life. But the other person who says she knows what happened is the family's au pair, Juliana Perez Magalhaes. She accuses the husband of lying. About a year and a half after the murders, Juliana went on the record with Fairfax County prosecutors to say she and Brendan were having an affair, and she claims Brendan spent months masterminding a plan to murder his wife and take her out of the picture. News 4 is first to show you that interview with prosecutors.
What was his plan? How did he describe what his plan was?
You mean
the description of what his plan was? This is going to happen, then that's going to happen, or what specifically did he tell you?
Well, he described, like I said before, but I'll try to get into more details that he described basically what happened on that day.
Here's what Juliana told prosecutors happened on that day. She says Brendan pretended to leave for work. He was a law enforcement agent with the IRS. But she says he was actually staked out at a McDonald's nearby, waiting for Juliana's call. Juliana says Christine was asleep in the bedroom and they hid her cell phone in the kitchen. Juliana went to the car with the couple's 4-year-old daughter for a staged trip to the zoo. Juliana says she was concealing a gun that Brendan gave her and instructed her to carry that morning. That's when Joseph Ryan showed up to the family's home. Police say he brought with him restraints and a knife.
And then that's when Brendan had instructed me before, as soon as I see Joe's car, for me to call him right away. And that's what I did.
Juliana says that's when Brendan starts driving from the McDonald's back to the home. Juliana says next she was instructed to call Christine on that phone they purposefully hid in the kitchen. When Brendan arrives, Juliana says the two of them enter the back basement door with the 4-year-old girl, leaving her in the basement as they go up to the ground level and pause at the foot of the staircase.
He just did like this to me, wait, and then I stopped, and then we were both just listening to that sound. That was the real sound we were listening to.
What did it sound like?
For me, I mean, slapping.
Brendan's defense attorney points to several inconsistencies in Juliana's statements, and this is one of them. She originally told police that the moment they first entered the basement, she could hear sex sounds from upstairs. But now, Juliana admits that her story has changed, saying she made a mistake in her original statement. Juliana says they ascended the stairs and Brendan went into the room, gun drawn. She says she was behind him. Juliana says Brendan announced himself as law enforcement as Joseph Ryan was on top of Christine on the floor. Juliana says Christine yelled, "Brendan, he has a knife." And then Juliana says Brendan almost immediately shot Joseph Ryan in the head.
She was like, why'd you do this? Call 911. And I said, Juliana, specifically, Juliana, call 911.
Police say Juliana did call 911 at that moment, but she never said anything on the phone and hung up shortly after connecting with the 911 dispatcher. She says Brendan was gesturing at her to get off the phone. Then Juliana told prosecutors she saw Brendan take Joseph Ryan's knife and stab his wife in the neck.
Yeah.
What did you hear her saying to Brendan as he was stabbing her in the neck?
He was stabbing her in the neck. She was just telling him, let me go, I'm gonna die anyways. I'm gonna bleed to death. She was just leave me here, let me die. And then he was telling her, I can't. I don't know why he said I can't.
Police say Christine Banfield was stabbed multiple times in different parts of her body. Juliana says Joseph Ryan was still moving after the gunshot to his head, and she says Brendan then instructed her to shoot Joseph Ryan again, which she did. Then Juliana claims Brendan started to manipulate the crime scene.
How did Christine Banfield's blood come to be on Joe Ryan's arms and hands?
Brendan did.
Nearly 8 months went by without an arrest in the case. Over that time, detectives returned to the home and police say something stood out. It appeared to them that Juliana had moved into the primary bedroom with Brendan. The picture on the bedside frame had been swapped out. Now, it held a picture of Brendan and Juliana. Police say they also heard the young girl calling Juliana her mommy. News 4 is not identifying the child due to her age.
When did first begin to refer to you as her mommy?
I do not remember when exactly.
In October of 2023, Fairfax County Police arrested Juliana and charged her with Joseph Ryan's murder. Over the next year, Brendan remained free. He wasn't charged with any crime until police arrested Brendan in September of 2024 and charged him with 4 counts of aggravated murder. Reporting in Fairfax County, Drew Wilder, News 4.
This interview was conducted in October of 2024 as part of a plea agreement. Prosecutors offered Juliana a deal, and that was to testify against Brendan in exchange for a manslaughter conviction and a much shorter jail sentence.
Brendan Banfield is set to go on trial in late October. The court has granted permission for that trial to be televised.